Creativity changes the everyday. Creativity is beautiful. Creativity is active. Creativity is freedom. Alpha NEX5 debut.
Well, Michael Holtz, you're here from, well, all the way from New York, so welcome to Australia. How are you?
Thank you very much. Excellent.
Good. Well, look, your company's called SmartFly in New York, okay? But I know you've got a bit of a passion about some product in Australia, so you're here obviously because you love Australia. But tell me about your passion and what you think Australia today is all about from a traveler perspective.
Well, when I heard about Luxperience, I knew I had to come, because I believe that many Americans are unfamiliar with Australia. They think it starts with the Great Barrier Reef and it ends with the Opera House. Well, you know what? I'm here to tell the rest of America there's a ton of good product here. Southern Ocean Lodge, Sapphire in Tasmania. And my favorite would be the Moaning Museum in Hobart. Off the charts, 9,000 square meters. That's 100,000 square feet for my friends back in the US. It's an absolute must-see.
So tell our friends here, what does MONA stand for?
Museum of Old and New Art.
Wow, okay. And located in a place like Tasmania, which is very much about, you know, the old Australia, but also bringing in the new and contemporary side of Australia. So what do you particularly like about MONA?
Well, some of the exhibits are not exactly PG rated, so I'm not really going to talk about them. You're going to have to go see on your own. But, you know, it starts with arriving at the Henry Jones Art Hotel, an old jam factory.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Right on Hobart Harbor. And then I had a convertible, drove out to Mona. I figured I'd go there for maybe 20 minutes. I'm not a big museum goer. I ended up spending 3 hours there. World-class restaurants, sort of like Danny Meyer's Modern in New York City.
Brilliant, isn't it? You know, Tasmania's changed so much, hasn't it? Because it was a fairly sort of, you know, low-key destination, and yet all of a sudden all these great restaurants have sprung up and so on. Where else in Australia really appeals to you? And you made a comment just before about the Americans' perception of Australia. Firstly, they think it's a hell of a long way. Secondly, they think there's nothing here except a big red rock in the middle. So how would you actually sell this to Americans and people in New York when you're doing your job?
Well, first we would explain to them that Tasmania is not full of a bunch of devils.
Yeah.
Because most people expect to see the devil. Tasmania is sort of like the West Village in New York City, combined with the beauty of the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Southern Ocean Lodge on Kangaroo Island is really the Galapagos of Australia.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
It's a beautiful place. Sea lions, wallabies, kangaroos, the remarkable rocks. Awesome.
So when you get back to Australia, you're going to discover lots of things over the next couple of days here, I'm sure. Some product you know, some you don't. So how inspired will you be? Because one of the background, if you like, backgrounds to experience is about inspiration and meaningful and so on. So how inspired and how meaningful will you be when you go back to Australia in terms of promoting the products you're going to see at Luxperience this week?
Well, we've got a bunch of, you know, great agents in our organization. We're a fairly good-sized Virtuoso agency, and Virtuoso in the U.S. represents the best of the best. Our clients want the best of the best. There is unbelievable product here, and I'm going to tell all of my high-end clients they must come to Australia. And the best way to get here is row 5 on Virgin Australia.
Michael, thank you very much indeed for your tips. Thank you.
Take care.
Excellent.